Pumping that podcast wattage in your cottage, it's Think Digital. Get ready to take the red pill, think different about scaling your business, and free your mind. And now, coming to you live and direct from the Moon, Iowa, the greatest city in the universe, here's your guide, Justin Wise.
There is no spoon.
Pumping that podcast wattage into your cottage, your tiny ski chalet cottage. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Think Digital. Justin Wise here with you. I am the captain on this good ship. Welcome aboard. Today's topic is one that is near and dear to my heart. It is Facebook ad questions you need to ask before hiring an agency. We're going to get to that here in just a moment. Show notes will be available at thinkdigital.co/podcast. That's thinkdigital.co/podcast. Now, the title of this show, whether or not you're going to hire an agency, my guess is if you're listening to this, you've at least thought about it. And what we have found is there's usually two people in this world, two types of people anyway. People who like doing their own Facebook ads and people who don't. So this is predominantly going to be for people who don't like doing their own Facebook ads. However, if you do enjoy doing your own ads, you will find value out of this because you will ask these questions to yourself. You can do it in the quiet of your own room, but you can ask these questions. And what we found is that these questions, when answered, produce profitable Facebook ads campaigns because you know enough to be dangerous. And so, assuming that you're moving forward, you are looking to outsource your ads. And so I want you to be prepared when you go and talk to the market because, frankly, there's a lot of crappy agencies out there and a lot of crappy freelancers. And there's very few good ones. And now you might be saying, well, Justin, that's awfully self-serving because you run an agency. Yes, I do. But this will not be a pitch for services. This is not that. I will not make a single pitch for you to work with us. It's not what this is about. Because what I know is a lot of times we have to save people. We have to fix a lot of junk that other poorly trained, poorly disciplined ads managers implement, cruelly, might I add, on their unsuspecting client victims. I do not want you to be a client victim. The reality is you probably wouldn't be able to get in to our client list anyway because most times, depending on when you listen to this, we're actually pretty full. So that being said, I still want to add value to you and I want to add value to your business and I want you to be prepared if and when you decide to make that decision to hire someone to do your ads. Here are the questions that you need to ask. And some of these I'm going to breeze through. Some of them I'll stop and spend a little bit of time on. But I want you at the end of this to be able to take control and scale your business profitably with Facebook ads. That's the goal. And I want you to avoid the pain of partnering with the wrong agency or frankly making costly mistakes on your own. So here's what I want you to ask. Question number 1, what should the return be on my investment in Facebook ads? Now, I put this question first for a reason. It's the most important. Here's the thing. If an agency or a freelancer tells you that likes, comments, engagement, shares on your ads are the return you should expect, turn around, run the other way. Your return on any Facebook ad investment should be conversions, leads, more broadly speaking. Plain and simple. If you're going to put money in, you should get leads at the very least out of it and sales. No, likes are not a good return on an investment. No, comments are not a return on investment. No, shares are not a good return on investment, period. Now, the only exception I make to this rule is if you're running a brand awareness campaign. Usually, you'll find that at either end of the spectrum. So we have had good results running brand awareness campaigns with large, very large organizations, 8-figure companies and nonprofits. So their goal isn't necessarily to run ads to create conversion. And on the other end of the spectrum, we've had good experience running brand awareness campaigns for local businesses. So large organizations whose reach is very, very large, and small businesses who have necessarily a smaller footprint. So their goal isn't necessarily conversions. Take a restaurant, for instance. It's not necessarily conversions. It's more awareness. Hey, we're in Anytown, USA, and we're this restaurant, and we want you to see our delicious food and be tempted by it and the ways we put together our food dishes. Good grief, I hope no one writes an ad like that for a restaurant. But you get the idea. The thinking is the more times people see the ad, the brand awareness anyway, the greater the likelihood that they will take action and come see you. But for most people listening to this, your goal should be leads and conversions. Okay? So if someone gives you an answer that doesn't fit that mold, run away very, very quickly. Second question, what results should I expect to receive from Facebook advertising? This dovetails very nicely from the first question. I kind of covered some of this already. But in terms of results, what you should expect is, again, conversions. Now, these come in different forms. This is why this is a separate question. At least from our experience, this is what we found. They come in 3 different forms. Conversions come in 3 different forms, okay? Cost per acquisition, or sometimes referred to as CPA. Cost per lead, sometimes referred to as CPL. And cost per click, sometimes referred to as CPC. An agency should be able to meet or beat your existing CPA, CPL, CPC. When I say meet or beat, here's what I mean. So if you've been doing your own ads, you know that they take time. To do them well anyway, they take time. There is no such thing as set it and forget it advertising, period. They just does not exist. If anyone tells you that or leads you to believe that, they are lying. So if an agency can meet or beat what you're getting, you may be thinking to yourself, gosh, I could do that. Well, yeah, you could, but you spent your time. And I don't know about you, but to me, in my book, time is way more valuable than money. So at the very least, an agency should be able to get you your time back. And then they should be able to meet or beat your current CPA, CPL, CPC. Most cases, 99.9% of cases, they're going to beat it. But for Facebook ads to work for your business, an agency should deliver to you more customers, clients, more leads. Very, very straightforward. Third question I want you to ask, what is my cost per acquisition or my cost per lead? My CPA or my CPL? Simply define a CPA as how much it costs you to win a client. A CPL is similar, but it's just how much it costs you to get a lead. CPC is a little more nuanced. It's how much it costs you to get a click. So if an ad gets the click, landing page gets the conversion, a CPC is, hey, how much does it cost me to get someone to click on this ad? Now, if you don't know those numbers and you're either running your own ads or you want to, that's fine. It's okay. But an agency should be able to help you set those vital benchmarks to measure against. I know that's one of the first things we do with our clients is make sure that we're all on the same page of, number one, what they've hit prior to working with us, what their, let's just say CPL, their cost per lead is prior to working with us, and where they want to go. And then we set out a time frame to get them there based on their budget, based on their offer, and a lot of different other factors. Now, if someone you work with can't do this or doesn't know how to do this, they don't know what they're doing. Any agency should be able to inform you on what a good cost per acquisition, cost per lead might be. And like I said, if they don't know what they're doing. Now, this is a big one. If you ask no other question, I want you to ask this one. The fourth question is, how much of my dollar is going to ad spend versus ad management? So how much of my ad dollar is going to ad spend versus management? Now, there's 2 different modes. There's a third mode that I might tell you about, but it's for amateurs and rookies, and no one with any level of credibility or seriousness is using it. So if that gives you my sense of how I feel about it. Now, some agencies prefer the traditional and frankly outdated method of charging you fees based on a percentage of your ad spend. Now, this can be anywhere between 10 and 30%.
You're listening to Think Digital with Justin Wise. The next step down the rabbit hole is to sign up for the No Spoon newsletter, a free weekly email designed to increase your productivity, grow your influence, and free your mind. Take the red pill and head on over to thereisnospoon.co to sign up.
So, to put this in an example, let's say you have $1,000 advertising budget, a lower, smaller, that's a smaller ad budget, but let's just say it's $1,000 for easy math. And an agency says to you, hey, we don't have a management fee, but we will take 20% of your ad spend. So that means that if you do the math, $1,000 ad budget, 20% of $1,000 is $200. So for every $1,000 you spend on ads, 200 of those dollars will go into an agency's pocket. This, again, simple math, leaves you with $800 to spend on ads. Now, ultimately, you may think, cool, as long as I keep my ad spend low, I don't got to pay the agency anything. But this is where this model is tricky and it's dangerous for the client because it encourages you, the client, to spend more on ads, most times when you don't even need to. Because the logic is the more you spend, the more the agency makes. That's why I want you to work with an agency that has flat rate pricing. Flat rate agencies charge a set amount for their services. So it doesn't matter how much you spend on ads, you're always going to pay the same for their management services. So for instance, if you take that same $1,000 ad spend, every dollar goes to creating conversions for your company. In other words, there's no incentive for a flat rate agency to get you to spend more because they have a flat rate. It doesn't scale. It doesn't change. Now, the one critique to flat rate pricing is that, well, you pay the same no matter what. And if you have a smaller ad budget and you pay a flat rate, that can actually be less cost effective in the long run. So ultimately, you have to decide what model works best for you. But most people listening to this podcast right now are going to work really well with an agency that does flat rate pricing because we happen to use that at Think Digital. We've done both. The reason why we use flat rate is because it puts the client first. We are client focused and client minded. So we're able to advise a client solely based on what's best for them. So if we think they need to spend more money on ads, we can tell them without it being weird and sticky and squishy. There's no added benefit for us for a client to spend more outside of just it makes them more money. So the tricky part about percentage-based pricing is that they start low and then the agency will push you to spend more money over time. And so if you stay with an agency for any amount of time and you do the math over, let's say, 12 months, you save a ton of money going with flat rate pricing. Now, if you can't make at least a 90-day investment in your ads, hiring an agency, then number one, I wouldn't hire anyone to begin with. I would just do the ads on your own. But if you can and are willing to make at least a 90-day investment, then you need to stick with someone who does flat rate. One of my favorite questions is question number 5. How do I know the ads are working? How do I know my ads are working? And what I believe is that you should have 24/7 access to the inner workings of your campaign. For some reason, I still can't figure this one out. Some agencies do not allow clients to access the analytics of their own campaigns. This is absurd. Now, even if you have zero interest in looking, seek out an agency that values transparency. Okay? So even if you never, ever, ever want to look at the guts of your campaign and see how it's working real time, doesn't matter. You need to work with an agency that values that transparency and gives you access. So in short, you'll know your ads are working if they're meeting your cost per acquisition, cost per lead, cost per click goals. Do not settle for the fluff metrics like shares or likes or comments or worse, engagement. You must demand to see your numbers because here's the thing. It is your money. You are spending your money. You are hiring an agency to work on your behalf. Those ads should be on your ads manager, not theirs. It should be on your side of the aisle, not theirs, because it's your money. We once saved a client from an agency that held their ads captive. And we're not just talking about one or two campaigns here. We're talking about dozens and dozens of campaigns. So we devised a way to actually, I'm still very, very proud of this. We devised a way to copy all of those ads word for word with a script. It went off like a dream. So our client got free. But no client should ever be held captive to an agency. And that's certainly true for our agency. Every now and again, a client will leave and we send them away with all the stuff that we created for them. It's all theirs because they paid us to create it for them on their behalf. Question number 6, we got 2 more here. What should be included in an agency's monthly management investment? Here's what I want you to make sure. If you're hiring an agency, here's what they should do for you. They should create your ads, meaning they should write the copy and select or design images. They should create the campaign itself. They should install a pixel. They should do audience research and audience creation. They should do persona targeting, daily optimization. That's a huge one. Daily optimization. Remember how I said earlier, running ads is not set it and forget it? This is one of the main reasons, I can't speak for other agencies, but this is one of the main reasons why we get in campaigns every single day. Does that mean that we're changing things every day? No. That would be disastrous to results. But it does mean that we're turning ads off. It does mean that we're adjusting budgets. It does mean that we're making small incremental tweaks and changes as needed to make sure the ads perform at their highest possible ability. Think of it this way. You pay the agency to accomplish these tasks and spend your budget intelligently. You're doing that so your mind is freed up to continue building your business. You don't have to worry about it or think about it. It's the same reason why we hire people. We've got a great agency we work with to help us with email copywriting. Every now and again, I'll get in there and write an email, but we've got a great partner we use to help us do that. Could we do it ourselves? Sure. But it frees my mind up to do other things, income generating activities for the business, so I don't have to talk about it or think about it rather. And a Facebook ads agency should do the same thing for you. Last but not least, how long before I start seeing results? The question everybody wants to know. Okay? And I do not want you to go into this deceived. Any agency that promises you results instantaneously is a fraud. Facebook ads take a minimum of 45 days to start seeing predictable, sustainable results. Notice I didn't say results. I said predictable, sustainable results. You will see results almost immediately after your campaigns start rolling, meaning leads will come in and to a lesser degree, conversions will come in. But to see something that's predictable and sustainable, we have found that to be at about the 45-day mark, give or take. That's like the sweet spot. What we call the ratio gets locked in. Think of it like a bank, okay? If you open an account with $100 on Monday and go into the bank on Tuesday expecting your money to have doubled, what's going to happen? Well, I can tell you what's going to happen after the banker gets done laughing at you is you're going to be disappointed. Why is that? Well, because investments, compound interest don't work that way. Facebook ads, and I've said it on this podcast before, Facebook ads much more closely resemble investing rather than gambling. So if anyone says to you, you'll be a millionaire overnight, you'll make $100 million or whatever, not going to happen. It just won't. Plain and simple. I'm here to protect you. All right. That's going to do it for this episode, folks. Actually, let me review these questions real quick. Okay. So the 7 questions I want you to ask are, what should the return be on my investment in Facebook ads? Question number 2, what results should I expect to receive from Facebook advertising? 3, what is my cost per acquisition or my cost per lead? 4, how much of my dollar is going to ad spend versus management? 5, how do I know the ads are working? Question 6, what should be included in an agency's monthly management investment? 7, how long before I start seeing results? Okay. Like I said, that's going to wrap it up. I want you to tell me one thing you learned today. One thing you are going to do different. Hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Justin Wise, and let me know. If you like these questions, I put them together in a PDF for you. So maybe you're listening to this at the gym or driving in your sweet car and you want a visual reference. Well, I made a PDF for you. justinwise.net/7 questions, all one word. That's justinwise.net 7 questions. It's there for you, waiting patiently, so go download it. Hey, I'll be back next week with another new episode of Think Digital. In the meantime, have fun, stay safe, and we'll see you online. Bye-bye, everybody.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.